So this book, I kind of picked it up, didn't think I needed to read it, but on some reason I kind of felt want to read it. And what I thought I already knew about sleep, that how important sleep is double than what I thought it was. I'm telling you, anybody who hasn't heard about the sleep, importance, and even if you have, you don't know half of it, I would say, if you haven't read this book. So that would be my advice. Must, must, must for everyone to read, not only for yourself, for your loved ones, for your, I don't know, friends, whatever, to share this information. Now, I knew sleep was very important and it can cause issues if you don't. And I heard the saying, or, podcasts or somewhere talk about somebody say, sleep experts say, hey, number one factor that can dictate your health is sleep. And then the fastest thing that can kill you is sleep. I thought it was hyperbole a little bit, kind of, right? I knew it was important, but there was this notion for me that, hey, even if you lose the sleep for a few days, you can catch up. That's what this book is about. Dispelling all those myths about sleep is what this book about. It's so much in there. Like, for example, one of the things I've learned is sleep enables you to learn better. When you learn something new and you go have a good sleep, then it helps you rewire your brain to remember things. I don't know that. It's neuroplasticity, whatever happens. And if you don't do that, people who don't sleep enough, when they learn something, perform low or don't remember stuff. That means their brain is not wired properly, essentially, to remember those things. The other thing, like this whole, but I'm going to share this book, and in a week or a couple of weeks, we'll have this whole dumbest thing that US and other countries have done is this whole, daylight saving time, which they thought, oh, they'll save something. That is the biggest killer. 1 hour of sleep matters tremendously. And I heard this before, but I didn't know that, how big it was, how much health crisis it causes. So it's just the stupidest thing that essentially the change of times is. So I guess, yeah, if somebody's listening and you can call your congressman, senator, and tell them, are you being an idiot? The science says clearly this rolling back and rolling forward, or extending the time does help. But then decreasing the time does double the bad, or more than that, essentially. And then there is this other thing about, I didn't know this at all, about how teenagers, like I had my teenagers who would sleep late and get up late, right? I always used to come on, sleep early. And I didn't know that. It's the natural circadian rhythm that happens to all of us. When we were teenagers, that's why we slept late and got up late. And also there are people who, we all know they're early sleepers and early risers, and some are work better with late sleeping and late getting up in the morning. Again, it's that DNA in them. And the problem with the world is we all try to fit everybody into the same thing. And one of the biggest damages this book essentially kind of proves and shows, a lot of studies show, is how much damage is done to the kids, especially the teenagers, by making them get up early in the morning. And there have been proofs where some school districts in Minnesota or somewhere adopted an hour or 2 hours or so. It's not 7:30, they did 8:30 or 9. It made a tremendous difference for not only the kids' performance and their studies and all that stuff, but overall health and everything, how awake they are. And then the other factor is, if you're not able to sleep properly, that's a clear indicator something is wrong in your body, something is going on. very early indicators of heart problems and all that stuff, evidently sleep. Like if you're getting less than 6 hours or something, or sort of 6 hours or so, then or less, then clear indication that you have issues. That's what most of the, like obesity. So no matter how much you work out, how well you eat, if you don't sleep right, then you're not going to be in the best shape. That's what the study says. So there is so many things like that, right? Now, the one thing I wanted to see and see if there was a study done, because meditation can be a form of a sleep. You can go into deep meditation. I know not too many people do that, right? Percentage wise, probably not too many. And there is a thing called Yoga Nidra, which, I've heard it on Andrew Hubermans, who's obviously a neurobiologist. He knows, I would think he would know about the sleep because he had, I think, Matthew Walker on his podcast, maybe, or some sleep expert. I know he had that about sleep and the importance of sleep. So he would know. But anyway, one of the things is Yoga Nidra kind of helps, 20 minutes is equal to 4 hours or something like that. Now, I don't know, there was no mention of that in this book about if that helps, can alleviate the times you can't sleep well. But the bottom line is, each day you lose X number of hours, because the ideal amount is 7 to 9, ideally at least 8. That's what he says. Now I kind of average around 7, I think, these days. But if you don't, then you're on fast path to many things, like even the brain related disease or issues you get. Number one effect is this, and the fastest way to die is have 7 to 10 days of sleepless, and then you die. And there are instances of that. So food and all that stuff doesn't matter. Sleep is the number one. So human beings and animals, everybody's meant to sleep and a certain circadian rhythm. And also one of the bigger important things about light and temperature, which I already knew. So I have my black curtains, and then recent instances, my sister and them, they came visit me, and then when they slept in the bedroom with the black curtain, they slept like 11 hours, versus normal 7-8 hours. That makes a huge effect, right? The light and all. People have these blue lights or, yellow light, especially blue lights. Those are evidently very dangerous. They affect your sleep. So that's the number one. And then, obviously, most people probably know, staying up, on your laptop or phone, that affects your sleep. So there's multiple things. But the biggest thing is, we need to start realizing how important the sleep is. And there is this whole culture about, sleep is for losers, or you need to work hard and don't sleep 8 hours. Jeff Bezos is famous for always making sure he got 8 hours of sleep, regardless of how busy he was. I guess he knew, right? So anyway, all I can say is I can go on and on. This is one of the great books I read about health, and very, 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 very underrated aspect of sleep. If you're not getting good sleep, then you are in terrible shape. Something is going on. That's the clearest indicator. The last one, by the way, least ADHD, all these medications, Ritalin. So that's one of the reasons why the kids get those ADHD medications, because they don't get enough sleep. That's why they're distracted, and it's a vicious cycle. And those ADHD cause more sleeplessness because they're trying to wake you up. So then they lose more sleep. So anyway, there's so many things. I was really fascinated by the studies they did, and how me being a health nut, thinking I know a lot, my eyes opened a lot. This book on the sleep and the importance of sleep, and how it affects people's not only brain, but the weight, everything. So, many times people do everything right. Seems like they're eating right, working out, all that stuff, they still seem like, okay, they're not in great shape. If you're not sleeping right, then all that doesn't matter. Your body is not going to adjust and not lose that weight. Because you can sleep more and lose weight, probably. Seems like because you eat less. And that's another thing. If you sleep properly, you eat less. If you sleep less, you eat more. So, anyway, I can go on and on. So, must read for everybody if you care about you and your loved ones.